Yesterday we talked about some obvious and necessary adjustments that are going to have to be made, given the climate and given certainly what's going on in both the world and potentially in our own state. Was on a conference call this morning, a small call this morning with the Commissioner of Education and Governor Khsaa, and collaboratively we've come up with some alterations that we are going to make to the rest of this event starting tomorrow. And at least it's a draft for what we're going to do with the boys tournament. We also know that events between now and Tuesday could potentially change the boys tournament even more. But starting tomorrow, there will be an extreme limit placed on who can be in the gym while the games are played. It'll include the arena and event staff, our staff of course, the referees, contest officials, our board members, the credentialed media, and I will say that in some states they are exempting the credentialed media, but we're going to try to stick to the condition of letting you all promote these great kids and what they do. The schools will be limited to the students that are on their postseason roster, and they have, it's an official document that we carry that they maintain, and each of those people may have 4 family members. We're going to depend on our principals and ADs to inform them. We are going to prepare a notice that'll go out in just a little bit to our schools, so if you're like McCracken County was this morning, you're going to go ahead and get it out before everybody else, I'm sure. But we are going to try to communicate this in great detail to the schools in case you get small questions. We'll have 2 tickets per administrator that they can get in. The seats will be assigned and spaced to where the social distancing can be accomplished within the seating. There'll be rows that are closed, and tickets will not be where they are now. They will be on the sides, but separated from each other, and in a way that the students and the adults can be separated as well. The CDC guidelines, which is what we have looked at the entire time, have tightened down, and certainly tightened down in the last couple of days in terms of large gatherings. Right now, this plan would go for sessions 5 through 8 of the girls' tournament and the entirety of the boys' tournament. They would be run exactly the same. As I say, we're hopeful of getting things, getting this incorporated and try to see how it works. It's going to thin out, obviously, the arena. And I have no doubt that you'll get different comments about the experience for people, but our health is the #1 thing. And I told somebody, and I frequently said this in the last 48 hours, at the end of the day, 6 weeks from now, we have no further cases. Both sides will claim their right. When they socially distance, boy, that was great. You did the right thing, and see, it didn't spread. And the other group's going to say you overreacted. There is not a winning side to this, other than trying to keep Kentuckians healthy. Both Governor Khsaa and myself reiterated that multiple times. One of the additional steps we'll be taking is that the people that are here for the first game of a session, the team parties, will be escorted out after the first session. They've deliberately tried to hold the crowd to a small crowd for each game. Lots of people lose their opportunity to come watch. We obviously won't have any general ticket sales. As a lot of you know, for the boys basketball tournament, that can be 9, 10, 11,000 people. It certainly can be 2,000 to 3,000 for the girls. People that have supported us over the years as corporate partners and Sweet 16 club members, they don't get to come in. Bands will not be allowed in. Significant concern from the health community about that, as well as cheerleaders will not be allowed in. And that is certainly, again, a concern that the health community has expressed because of the close, compact nature and the fact that they're so close to people, whether it's you all in the media in front of them or themselves. You know, again, as of yet, there's no data to indicate that this particular virus attacks kids that are 19 and under. But there's a lot of evidence coming out each day that perhaps they're contacting with each other and carrying it to other people. Could be bad. The other thing that concerns me, quite frankly, about doing anything other than the steps that the governor and the Department of Ed and I collaborated on this morning, is we have to recognize that there's lots of recommendations from the CDC about people of a particular age, 60 years old and having underlying conditions. That's a lot of our audience at the Boys Sweet 16. those are just facts, folks. We can't run from that. We were hoping we could do some different strategies with crowd distancing and things, but I think for 2020, it's just going to be, and we'll all have it as an asterisk, and we'll remember that year, and hopefully we won't repeat it. We will not have Coaches Association honors. We've got lots of things we tie in with this tournament. Player and Coach of the Year and things, but we'll not have those ceremonies. We've eliminated the in-person people that will be doing the national anthem and being ball boys and girls. I mean, we've got to do what we can to limit this to essential people. We won't even have a coach's dry hospitality room or exhibit hall. We're going to shut that down because that's a lot of interaction between people. So, and understand that the boys could change more with further guidance from the CDC or the governor's office. We have to be a statewide team on this. Now, people sitting at home, it's easy. I use a quote a lot that talks about Twitter thugs with keyboard courage. And you see that a lot. There'll be people second guessing no matter what you do. At the same time, they maybe don't have the responsibility for a number of people that I do, and that's fractional compared to what Governor Beshear has responsibility for. So it's a different perspective here. And it's not desirable. It is devastating to the local community. Certainly it is a huge income loss. We would all hope and pray it's a one-year situation. We hope it's a one-month situation. But we also know that one of the options we talked about earlier in the week was let schools have their choices. But in reality, sometimes it's hard to be in a leadership role. And when Governor Beshear and I talked about that this morning, it's just tough to make some tough stands. I made the comment, I did make the side comment that you're asking us to pull all this together because he wanted an announcement early today. And I agreed with him. And I said, just remember we got a small staff. He said, well, just remember I suggested we close church. So we're all making uncomfortable statements right now that we would not normally like to make. And I thought that's a good perspective comment. So with that, we'll see if there's any specifics. We have communication that we're putting together in writing to go to our schools, especially the participating schools, because obviously we've got to address the change in ticketing. That's what I was teasing McCracken earlier, but that's what they decided to tell the world before we had a chance to tell everybody, because we did notify our schools this morning to stop selling tickets if they were selling for either tomorrow or beyond or next week. So, but there's lots of little details we've got to work out. We've got to work out with fans, refund opportunities. We've got to give them an option. Maybe they don't want a refund, maybe they want to make a donation. That's their call. But obviously they're entitled to a refund where we can. So, any questions from anybody? Frank?